All right, hello everyone. Just want to take just a couple minutes of your time to talk about the parts of a parabola. And if you remember, we did those two explorations for the satellite dish as well as the spotlight, and we talked about this thing called the focus right here. And that's a very important point of a parabola, and so I want to talk about that and other points that occur on your parabola. So just a couple of quick definitions. So if we have our parabola right here, and so I'm going to use some colors. You don't necessarily have to use the colors. Okay, this right here is your parabola that we're all familiar with. Okay, so we've got our parabola, and if you remember from before, this line right here, this is our axis of symmetry. All right, which we should all be familiar with at this point. And so I'm going to just use another color to draw that in. So we've got our axis of symmetry right there. And that's that. And now a couple of important things that occur on your parabola. The first thing is what we call the focus, and that is this point right here. So I'm going to kind of define it out here. So that's my focus. And focus is a couple of things about the focus. First of all, the focus will always be on the interior of the parabola. So it's on the interior of the parabola. And by interior, you can see it's going to be inside of your parabola. So we've got that. And another thing that's interesting about the focus is that it lies on the axis of symmetry. All right, I'll just abbreviate that there. So let me use a pretty pink. So that is what we call the focus right there. And so it's just a point. We talked a little bit about what it means to be the focus. There's another line, if you notice, on this graph that is on the other side, and that line right here, we call this the Directrix. So let me spell that. So D-I-R E-C-T, so Directrix, R-I-X, okay? So that's this line right here. All right, and the directrix is what we say it's perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. Okay, so that's perpendicular to the axis of symmetry, so you can see right here we've got a nice 90-degree angle. Now, why do we have to have the directrix in there? It has to do with distances. So basically, if I were to take a line and draw it from my directrix to my parabola, and then draw a second line from this intersection point to my focus, those two distances would be the same. So it kind of looks like this. So let me draw a line in here. So if I draw that line, and let's make the assumption that that's a perpendicular line, so it goes straight up, and it hits the focus, or excuse me, the parabola right there. Now, if I draw another line from this point to my focus, if you kind of eyeball that, you can see that they're the same length, and in a perfect world, they will be the same length. And that holds true for any line that I draw. So if I come way over here and I draw a perpendicular line, let's see how good I can do this. Not bad, perpendicular. So this line right here, and then if I draw another line straight to my focus right there, this line right here has the same line as right there. So that's the importance of the directrix. Now, what we really want to focus on is right inside here, right in this little area. Okay? So you see this, so if we have that point right there, we know that that's our vertex, right? So see this distance right here? This distance, we want to just call it P, okay? And P is just a variable, like X is a variable, okay? And that's going to become very important in the next video. So that little distance we want to call P. And right here, this little distance, we also is P also. So essentially what you need to know is the distance from the focus to the vertex is the same as from the vertex down to the directrix, okay? And that's it. That's all the important pieces of a parabola.